Thanks for joining me for another tutorial slash review video. Today I'll be going over a song I did for my choir last week. And I'll be talking about the softwares I've used. At the end of this video, I'll be giving out some tips as well on how to get your gospel music sound better, and how to, what will help you to work more efficiently. We all know that producing choir or church music to sound very good to be able to air on the TV could take a long time. So the more faster you are able to do it, the better for you. Okay, so these are the tips I'll be giving out in this video. Before we proceed, I'll be playing the intro of this song and then the chorus before I'll start talking about the plugins and the softwares I've used. So let me start by reducing this.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up. No shadow you won't light up. Mountain you won't climb up. Coming after me. There's no wall you won't keep.
So I'm sure you've heard what I'm hearing, and I wanted to point out, like, whenever I'm recording a video with this application, the quality tends to be very low. So I don't know how this might sound after recording. But anyways, let's go straight into this. The first thing I want to point out here is you want to make your music not to be very harsh. Okay. Let's say in this area, when it got to the climax, if you pack a lot of instruments in here and then you've boosted a lot of EQs, what will happen is people will not be happy to listen to that part for a long time. Okay, so you need to keep it simple and you need to keep it mild. You don't need to, like, boosting. For me, I always tell people it's better to cut EQs than to boost. So if you look at what I did here, let's go through the vocal channel. So what I did here was, let's go to the EQ anyway. What I did was, first of all, I went through cutting the EQ up to 70. I removed all the parts that I normally don't like. You need to just go through the EQ and see which part you need and which part is not needed. It's very good to remove all the low ends, because this kind of songs, when I produce them, I tend to add a lot of reverb and delay. So if I have a lot of low ends, it will end up clashing and then making the mix very muddy. So what I did was to cut out all the low ends and also find the frequencies depending on the mic you're using. I found the frequencies that sounds really hummy and bad, and I cut them a little bit. As you can see, I didn't do any boosting here. Then I boosted the bass because I like my mixes. I like when I mix my song to have that bassy, because I've cut out this place, this frequency. I like to make it up by adding a little bit of bass to make it sound rich. So when it comes to the VEQ, what I did here was I did another low cut, and then I want to point out this place. So what I did, I cut out the 1.5K. This area normally makes your mix sound like you're talking in the radio. The frequency can make it harsh. So if you find out that when you're mixing your song that the vocal sounds harsh, just go in and cut the 1.5K. That will really help it sound a bit smoother. Then I boosted the 10K area to give it a little bit of air and like space. Okay, this was all I did for the EQ. The rest was just compression and the SRs. As you can see here, I did a lot of added a lot of effects to get the sound to be a bit rich and fuller. But one of the key things I'll point out is, instead of adding a doubler in your vocal channel or adding a spreader, it's better to add it in a bus. Depending on the DAW you're using, find a way to add it in a different channel and then bring it into the vocal. So one of the things I did here that I like was I used slap delay, and then as you can see here on the slap delay, I make sure I remove every low end so that I won't have a muddy mix. And what that slap delay does is, I don't know how to explain it. It just makes it very full. Let me play it so you can hear what I mean. I'll just solo the vocals. Let's listen.
To me, and oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away.
So if you're listening with earphone, you would find out that it brings in this kind of effect as if it's doubled up, but it's not. It just it's a kind of delay that comes back to back. It's not the one that is worth or something. It just comes back to make it sound a bit rich. So what I do is I don't tend to turn it up so much. When you're adding effects to your vocal chain or vocal channel, make sure you don't add too much. The lesser the better. So once you start hearing it a little bit, that should be enough for you, because you have other things going on in your vocal channel, so you don't make one thing overpower the other. Okay, and then it comes down to the key ingredients to this song. This kind of songs, if you listen to Hillsong, you realize that they use a lot of guitars. So you don't have to play all the instrument or increase your strings to the max to make it sound rich or to make it full. So what they do is they normally play live guitar, 2 live guitars, and then mix it to the level where it's not very overpowering. You can hear it, but then it's not overpowering the mix. So that normally helps this kind of songs when it gets into the climax. So I'll play that so you can hear what I mean. So I think this is one of the things, if you add to your mix, it will really help you. So we'll play this chorus and I'll play it with the lead guitars and without the guitars.
Overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the night.
You can see that it sounds very empty, but let's add these 2 guitars and hear it again.
Overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases
automatically hear the difference. So you have to mix it to your own taste. Just make sure it's not very overpowering, and make sure to cut out the low ends. I always try to do this. So in this EQ, what I need to point out is, first thing I did was I went and selected a preset from one of the EQ presets in this Logic EQ, and then I tweaked it a little bit. When it comes to guitars, you normally don't need from 0 to 80, 85, depending on the guitar you're using. So it's better to cut that all out. And when it comes to boosting, another trick you need to learn in boosting your EQs is, like, if I've boosted this area and the other guitar I boosted the same area as well, what will happen is that it will clash. So when you're boosting your EQ, it's better to give each instrument different frequencies, so that even when the song is going on, you can easily hear it from somewhere. Do you understand? I don't know how to explain it for it to be easy. So it's, for me, if I'm boosting 8K here, I'll make sure on the other side I'm boosting maybe 6K or 4K. Okay, so that this one will occupy that space on the 8K, the other one will occupy the 6K, so that everything will have its own room and space. So that's one of the tricks I use for my EQ. And then the drums, I didn't play these drums, I used the electric drums. So one of the choir members played the drums live. So but what I want to point out is the drums we used, which is Superior Drums. I'll put the link in the description if you want to get this drums. It's really very good, one of the best drums out there. I used the rock preset because it sounds more like this, the song I'm producing anyway. I want it to sound like it's being played live. So this particular drum preset I'm using has that what would I say, that kind of roomy and hall kind of vibe. So if you listen, you hear. So I don't want something that is very, very punchy and in front of you. I want something that is just there, laid back, but you can still hear it. So that's why I use these drums. Superior Drums is fantastic. I don't know, there's a lot of reviews about these drums on the internet, so feel free to check it out. But it's one of the if the drums I would suggest that you have if you're making gospel music. In my next videos, I will be pointing out a lot of the drums I use and how I mix my drums. But the few things you need to see here is I removed the 0 to 30 Hz. This particular frequency, you barely hear it with your ears. It's very low. So with these drums, I don't want it to be muddy because these drums has a lot of reverb, as you can hear. Let me solo it so you can hear. And you can also see from the frequency spectrum that it has a lot of low ends. So for me to avoid that muddiness, I cut this out and just leave it like that. Keep it simple. And I used a preset. I like this preset a lot. Try it out and let me know what you think. Whenever I add this to any kind of live drums, it makes a huge difference. So if you have waves, just drop in your studio rack, go in there and choose this preset. Where is it? Drum enhancer, whatever. This is very, very amazing. I don't know how to explain it. The person that's built this preset really did a great job. So if you look into it, go through it yourself and find things out for yourself. But it sounds amazing. I'll just show you the difference so you can see what I'm talking about. So I've removed it. You can automatically hear the difference. It makes a huge difference in your mix. So it brings it out there. It's mixed frequency by frequency. That's why I like it. So the 6K has its own mix. The 2K has its own mix. 250, 90K, which is the low end. Everything was mixed separately, and then which is like it helps it pop out very well. Normally, if I'm mixing my drums, it takes a whole lot of time to mix drums, because I will go in here and route all this thing out to a different channel and mix them one after the other. I don't have that kind of time, since this music was meant to be used on Sunday, and we only started producing this, I think was on Thursday. So I didn't have a lot of time to go through that kind of mixing. So everything, I'm trying to keep it simple and efficient. And then that brings me down to mastering. Mastering and mixing could be a very difficult job. I'm not a mixing and mastering engineer. I'm just a producer. And this is the problem I'll point out with most of us, the producers. Some people tend to do mixing, mastering, everything themselves. It's fantastic. It's good if you can do it, if you have the ears or if you have the gift to do that. Some people are gifted to do all. Some people are gifted to just know how to produce what is in their head or in the head of the artist. Some people are gifted to with the ears to hear, oh, this sounds really bad. A very good mixing engineer or mastering engineer will listen to what I've just done here, and he will know that I've messed up. What I've done is not very perfect, but then that's not my job. So all I do is just to create and then make it sound good enough to be played in church. With the tips and tricks that I know, at least I make it sound very good to be for everybody to listen to. Okay. So what I did with the mastering is I just used once I've done my mixing and balancing the levels where I want them to be, because the main job is from the mixing. If you have a very bad mix, your mastering will be, unless you're a good mastering engineer, you're just going to give that person a hell of a job to do. So what I try to do is to do all my EQs, my levels and everything. Once it's done and sounds perfect, then I'll go and use this assistant mixing or mastering assistant, and just whatever it gives me, I'll go into that, listen to it, see if there's anything that needs to be tweaked or not. So as you can see, when I used the mastering assistant, all it did was cut a little bit of high, because maybe I have a lot of highs, which means that my mix was really perfect. It didn't need to change any frequency. So when you've done a very good mix, you realize that your mastering will be easy. All you're doing is just to boost the frequencies and to boost the volume. So that's all I did for the mastering. Then whenever I finish my mastering, what I do is I try to use this software from Ozone. I'll also put the link in the description. Very fantastic software. I use this software to see if my mix is balanced. It's one of the key things I think every producer needs to have. So what I do, I just choose modern, and then I listen to the music. Let's listen.
Coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up. Mountain you won't climb up.
As you can see, when I was playing this song, you see that everything, the white lines are where they need to be. If the white line is above here, then I have too much high. If this one high mid, if it's high or lower than this blue bar, then I have too much or I have less. So once you play your song and see that everything is in that spectrum, depending on the type of song you've made, they have a lot of preset here. Then you see what is overpowering the other, and you can easily go in here. And if let's take example, I'll play the song again. Let me show you something.
Mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down.
You can see that my bass is not that that much. I don't want it to be much, but if I wanted to add more bass, all I needed to do was I will go here, select the EQ, come down here, and then boost it. If I play it again right now, you see that the bass will come out. So let's play it again.
Coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down. There's no wall you won't kick down.
So you can see that we're almost having too much of bass already. So it's that simple. So this particular area where you see crest factor, it's about the dynamic of the song. Okay, so if it's to the left, I would say, I don't know, then this place, then it's you need to balance it more. If it's here to the other side, then it's too much, so it needs to be in between this area. Then you will know that your mix is fine. When you play it on the TV or on any radio set, it will sound fine. So this is all I have to talk about in this video, so I don't keep you waiting. Let me know in the comment section if there's anything you need me to explain, and also if you need this kind of preset that I use for my production, do let me know. If you use Logic, I'll make that available for you. Remember to like and subscribe this video, since this will help me get more views and more people to watch the video and subscribe. Thank you very much for joining, and looking forward to seeing you in the next video.